This podcast is not a substitute for a relationship with your mental health professional. Hey, family. Welcome back to another episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise-Brown. Hey, family. Oh, and if you just stumbled upon us, you just kind of scrolled by and you stumbled upon us, or if you're on listening on a podcast and you stumbled upon us, we would love for you to join the family. So if you're watching on YouTube, then what I would love for you to do is to subscribe to the podcast, like the podcast, and share the podcast. And then I want you to drop a comment on the podcast. Talk to me so that I can talk back to you. And if you're listening on the podcast, not YouTube, but straight podcasts like Spotify, Apple, and every place else that you find podcasts, please subscribe, join the family. The intention of this podcast is to empower you, to educate you, to lift you up so that you can have all of the tools to live the life that you desire. We are here. We talk about everything mental health, every single thing. Your mental health is the foundation of your life. So it leads to everything. It leads to greater finances. It leads to a better connection with family. It leads to relationships, to a better relationship with your romantic partner. It leads to you having great parenting skills and having great relationships with your children. I'm just saying, better choices in your career. So mental health is at the foundation of every single thing that you do here on this earth. And so the family, what we do here, what I do is I support you in all of those things by helping you to build and maintain your brain, your mental health. Here we make mental health a lifestyle, and that is every single thing fabulous. Okay, family? All right, so this week, family, we are going to talk about getting rid of your negative thoughts. A lot of times, family, you have negative thoughts that are keeping you back from living the life that you truly want, that you actually desire. You are self-sabotaging and you don't even know it. But guess what? The people around you know it. The people at work know it. Your partner, your romantic partner, your friends know it. Your family members know it. You and your negative thoughts are really getting in the way of you maybe connecting, maybe growing in your career. Like they really could be. Okay. Now, I don't want to generalize, which is one of the things that I'm going to tell you about today. I don't want to generalize and say all of you family are doing that, but I know there's a great amount of you out there, a great number of you who are allowing negative thoughts to get in the way of the things that you want in life. And maybe you don't even know that you're doing it, but that's what your girl is here for. Okay. So, you know what? I'm going to start off with some examples of what negative thoughts are. So, a negative thought could be the people who catastrophize everything. You catastrophize every single thing. All right. So, let's just say you were at work, you were working on a project, working with other people, and you made a mistake. Maybe you put in a wrong number because you're an accountant, and so that kind of messed up all the numbers. You were called on it by your supervisor or by a coworker. Or let's just say, I don't know, y'all were at work and you left the front door unlocked or you didn't lock it. And so then you were called on it by a supervisor or by security, I don't know. This just something else. I'm just thinking of examples of things that could go wrong at your job. Let's just say you're working in a corporate office and you made a call that was a wrong call. You were a supervisor and you made a wrong call on one of your staff, one of the people who are under you. Okay, so you did that. Or you told somebody to do something and it was the wrong thing to do. And then you figured out afterwards that it was wrong. It was the wrong decision that you made. Now, someone who catastrophizes things would think, oh my God, because I messed up, I made that wrong decision, the wrong call, I left the door unlocked, I put the wrong number in, they are about to fire me. They are about to fire me. Oh my gosh. So you are imagining that you created a catastrophe, something really big. And then when you imagine that there's a catastrophe, because that's the thought that's in your mind all the time, is, oh my gosh, they want to fire me. Oh my goodness. I don't know where I'm going to work, how I'm going to work, how I'm going to find a job. They say it's hard out here in these streets. You literally are catastrophizing the fact that you made a mistake and assuming that you're going to get fired. Why are we going all the way there? And I will tell you this, the fact that you are catastrophizing the situation or the outcome is causing havoc in your life. Because now when you walking around in the workplace, your nerves is bad. Your anxiety is high. You acting all nervous. You're not acting like you yourself. Sometimes you continue to keep putting your foot in your mouth and saying more things that you probably shouldn't be saying, when that's really the thing that could cause you your job, that could cost you your job, not the fact that you made that first mistake. It can get in the way of maybe you connecting with other people on your team, because now that you have had these negative thoughts of, I'm going to get fired, this is over. Now you might be thinking, oh, other people on the team may not like me. Other people on the team may be judging me or think that I'm dumb. And then what happens is those negative thoughts that will ruminate in your head will get in the way of maybe you connecting with the others on the team, connecting with your supervisor. You understand? Like, those thoughts will get in the way, because what you're telling yourself is, since it's all over, I'm going to act like it's all over. And that might not be the right way to act. Or let's just say another thing, another way that we could let negative thoughts get in our way, stay in our head, rob us of our happiness, is focusing on the negative instead of the positive. Now, let me ask you, family, have you ever traveled with someone, I don't know, like, went on a girl's trip, went on a guy's trip, went on a couple's trip, however, or went on a trip with your partner? And then when you're there on this trip, you are there, okay, just to have fun, just to relax, just to be free, try things that you've never done. But there's somebody on the trip that's always pointing out everything that they see that's negative. Every little thing that's negative. So just because that y'all encountered somebody and the person wasn't nice, I don't know, like somebody at a restaurant or something. So instead of them focusing on all of the other people who work in the restaurant who were nice, the positive, they want to continue to focus on the person who was negative, the person who didn't smile when they gave your change back, the person who didn't ask, does everyone want straws with their water? Like, they continue to focus and call out those things. Or just when you're, I don't know, out and about, or maybe you're on an excursion and you may encounter little things or people or circumstances, instead of them concentrating on all of the positive things that are going on during the day, they are focused on anything that came up that was negative. And they just keep talking about it, bringing it up over and over again, focusing on the negative instead of the positive. That comes from negative thinking. In your mind, you have a negative thinking counter, and every single thing that comes across the counter for you, it screams it's negative, and you filter out the positive. Well, we're going to stop that today. No, We want positive thoughts. We want to put our energy into the positive because wherever you put your energy, that's where you'll find growth. So, family, if you find yourself or other people around you always pointing out the negative, focusing on the negative, you'll notice that every single thing in their life is going to appear to be negative because that's where they're putting their energy. And that's where you're putting your energy. But we cleaning all that up today. Another way that you may keep negative thoughts and they may get in the way of your happiness or obtaining the life that you desire is having the whole fallacy of fairness. Lies. The lie that you keep telling yourself, or the belief system that everything in life should be fair. So anytime you encounter any type of situation or you see any type of, I don't know, some conflict or a certain situation, your response is it's negative because you're upset when you see that things are not fair. So you get stuck on this fallacy, this lie of fairness that every single thing in life should be fair. Everything, i.e., the election, like just everything should be fair in life, So just because, I'm looking at everything and it all should equal out and be even, and because you don't believe that life is unfair and you haven't accepted, because that's the word, believing it and then accepting that life is just not fair. Now, it does not mean that life is not good. But what it does mean is life isn't built on a scale, on a calculator, on a number system. Life doesn't, you're not going to get the same equivalent that you get from life that you'll get when you put 1+1 in a calculator. 1+1 in a calculator is always going to equal 2 because numbers, they're fair. But life is not fair. So sometimes you'll win and then sometimes you'll lose. But inevitably, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. Especially if you lost some, then that means that winning is coming, even when you've done your best. Accept that your winning is coming because even when you're treated unfairly, because yes, life is not fair. It's just not fair. It's not fair. But you got to get in where you fit in. Anywho, for people who have that whole thought process or belief system where they believe that life should be fair, if you continue to believe that, those negative thoughts will build up in your head, and then you will live a life where you are resentful of everything and unhappy. And we ain't doing that. We stopping all of that today. We're going to let go of those negative thoughts, holding on to that fallacy of fairness. Another fallacy that I will say at one time in my life, I felt victim to, another fallacy was a fallacy of change. So for me to be in the career that I'm in, I have to maintain hope that people change and people can change, that every single person can change, no matter how you were born, what your genetics were, what your environment was. If my belief is if you come in and I can help you to peel back, y'all know I like to peel back the layers of the onion to get to the root cause of why your behavior is the way it is today. And then we take from that, and then I can teach you the skills so that you can move forward and you can correct some of the behavior that you used to do before you came into me. And we can create some change and then create some new behavioral patterns in your life. Then right there, that's the definition of change. And then you'll start to see what that change brings about, how that change shows up in your life so that you can live the life that you want to live by the change. Now, I'm going to say a fallacy of change because, my thought process is every single person can change. Everybody can change. Now, I'm not saying that every single person can do a 180 change, which would mean, all the way around to the other side, like totally opposite. That's not what I'm saying. But I do have a belief that everyone can change. You can change. There's hope. But what I've learned over the years with working with so many people, couples, individuals, corporations, what I have learned is yes, people can change, but guess what? They have to want to change. Not only just want to change, they have to want to change bad enough to where they are committed to doing the work. So, can people change? Absolutely. However, the fallacy of change, that I'm going to say that I had in my head was as soon as they get the knowing, and yes, they make the decision, then they just change. But the fallacy was about people just changing, like that. But no, the truth is people can change. But they have to want it bad. They have to commit to it, and then they have to be consistent with doing the work. And that's the question. Do the people who want to change, will they commit to it, and will they do the work? And if they don't, then they ain't changing. Okay, so there you go. So there were some caveats to change. And let me tell you something. There's another thing. You can never, well, I will say this, it is not healthy to base your happiness on other people believing that they can change, right? So that belief system and the hope that this other person or other people can change, holding on to that and then connecting your happiness or allowing your happiness to be dependent on this hope for change, that is where you will ruin your own life. Self-sabotage, negative thinking. The positive thought is people can change. Yes. Yeah. However, they have to be committed to change and they have to do that work consistently. Okay. So then you let your happiness be independent of them changing. Okay. I'm going to tell you another way that we do some negative thinking that we're about to stop is when we're in situations and we do the blaming. Blame, blame, blame. So when things go awry, when things go wrong, when situations that you in go in a direction that you don't want them to go in, instead of you looking at yourself for how it is that you got here, you are quick to blame everybody else. And that is a negative thought in your head that I need to find blame. I'm in this situation. I don't like it. It's painful. I don't know. Maybe I lost some money in a deal. Somebody came together with a business deal and I'm in the deal and we was trying to work the deal, but the deal went left. And when the deal went left, we all lost our money. And instead of you asking yourself, well, what part did I play in this? Could I have done more? Should I have done less? Should I have been more communicative or whatever the thing is? Instead of doing that, which is the healthy thing to do, instead, that's off the table. And in your mind, negative thoughts is, who do I need to blame? Well, this person did that, or this person did that. Well, this person did that. Blaming, that blame shame game, it's full of negative thoughts. And then that's all that's in your thinking is how this other person made your life miserable, or this other person is the reason why whatever this thing is that you wanted, why it failed. Not true. It's not always everybody else's fault. The healthy thing would be to look at the whole situation, but also to look at yourself. Don't let the first negative thought to be to blame someone else. That's negative thinking. We getting rid of that. And the last little negative thought process that I want to bring up is overgeneralizing. Is when just because something happened to you, you generalize and say, oh, Everybody does that. So because you've had an encounter with a woman, then that means that your assumption is that all women do this, or you've had an encounter with a man. And these are less favorable encounters that you don't like, you got hurt or whatever. And so you had an encounter with a man, and then now the negative thought is all men do this, Yeah. One time a dog bit you. Let's just say you got bit by a dog. So now you're overgeneralizing it. All dogs bite. No, it's negative thinking. Then you turn into the person that every time you see a dog, you running or you jumping up on the car. I used to know a person like that because she was afraid because she felt like, and I don't even think a dog bit her, but I think a dog was barking at her and she was like backed up into a corner. So then from that negative thoughts, she overgeneralized and just assumed that all dogs bite. Not true. So we are going to stop this negative thinking today. And if you have any of these patterns, I am getting ready to help you. Here we go, family. So the first, hey, family, come on over here because I have something for you. Starting off with a go-to guide for keeping your minds healthy and strong. This right here is the Bible to mental health. It's your mental health Bible. The name of it is 6 Pillars to Power Up Your Mind and Make Mental Health a Lifestyle. Everything that you need to know about keeping your minds healthy and strong is in this go-to guide. Where you get it from? Well, you get it from awisebrown.com/shop. But in this go-to guide, honey, in this mental health Bible, you know what you're going to find out? You're going to find out the benefits of aromatherapy, and how it can shift your mood. But guess what? You don't have to go anyplace else to look for your aromatherapy because your girls got you, okay? You can get some aromatherapy here. This is aromatherapy is in this candle. This is called a slice of happiness. It makes me tingle, like literally makes me tingle. A slice of happiness. This is a cruelty-free candle with no parabens, no formaldehyde, and no known suspected carcinogenics. Now, you go out here and you find these candles that smell good, but are they good for you? Are they good for your brain? Come on now, get real with yourself. Well, this one smells delicious and it's good for you. Made with essential oils. It's a soy candle. Amazing. You can burn it or you can just walk by and smell it. Lord have mercy, it's so good. Okay, so that's your candle, your aromatherapy, which raises the dopamine in your brain. That's your natural feel good neurotransmitters in your brain. All right, y'all. And I'm a part of you. You're a part of me. We are a family. We got hoodies now, and these are unisex hoodies, and they wear well, they wash well, and they feel so good. So you can wear them over your clothes, you know what I'm saying, and look dope, or you can wear them as your clothes with nothing under them, which I like to do often. And when you travel everywhere, I mean, every time I wear them, I'm moving around. People are always asking me whether I'm traveling, going to the supermarket. What's that? Who's that? And I'm like, mental health is a lifestyle. Because see, this is on the back. Okay, they come in white and they come in black. I'm like, join the family. Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast. So there you go, family. Don't you ever say that I ain't give you nothing. You get all of these things from awisebrown.com/shop. All right, I got your goods. I got you. You don't have to go anyplace else. I'll see you on the other side. Family. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to fact check. So when you have a negative thought like, I don't know, all women are no good, or all women, when you generalize, are out for my money, I want you to ask yourself this question. Do some fact checking. I'm a girl that loves a fact. I'm not sitting around listening and talking to people's opinions all day and having conversations about people's opinions. No, everybody can have your opinion, but if you want me to stick around, we need to have some facts rolled up in there because I'm always trying to learn and I'm always trying to spit knowledge. I want to have an intellectual conversation, and intellectual conversations need to be rooted in facts. So, I'm a fact checker. So let me tell you something. This is what I want you to do if you want to get rid of negative thoughts. Do some fact checking. So, as I say, if you have a generalization, a general thought in your head because of one experience that all women are no good, all women are out for my money, ask yourself, do I know that to be 100% true? Not 80% true, because 80% of the women that you dealt with has done this. Not 30% true because Marsha and Janie did this. No. 100, which means all the women that you know in the world and don't know are out for your money or they no good. If it is not a fact, what we're going to do is we're going to let that thought go. We're going to act like it's in a bubble, a thought bubble, because thoughts have no power, family. You give thoughts power. We popping that thought. Another thought, I don't know. You do the reverse. All men are no good. All men are no good. And they only want one thing. They all going to cheat on you and do you dirty. That's a lie. That is not a fact of all of the men in the world. Absolutely not. Thought bubble. You ask yourself, do I know that to be 100% true? And if I don't, then it's not a fact. Popping. I don't want it in my head. Another thing, the second thing I want you to do is to reframe the negative thoughts. So let's just stick with that one. So reframing a negative thought could be, let's go back to all men are no good. It's not true. We know that. So now let's just say, well, let's reframe that. The men who I've encountered were no good or were cheaters or whatever the heck it is that you want to say, but not all men. Therefore, that gives me so many more opportunities because there's so many more men out there for me to meet and encounter. Because not all men have this same issue, just the ones I've encountered. That's reframing. Let's go back to the person or the example of the person who was in the work thing, right? And they kind of messed up. They put the wrong number. They were an accountant on a team. They put the wrong number in and the numbers weren't aligned. The supervisor pulled them out and said something to him. And then the negative thought was, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my job, because they were catastrophizing. So we're going to reframe that. I'm not going to lose my job because I don't know that to be 100% true. Do I know that to be 100% true? No, I don't. So maybe it's, I'm not going to lose my job. However, since I was reprimanded, it's cool. I'm going to go accept responsibility for my part, and I'm going to make sure that I never make that mistake again. Yeah, there you go. Reframing. Everybody makes mistakes. Not everybody who makes mistakes loses their job. Yeah. Okay. Those are healthier thought patterns. Let's reframe that because we don't know that to be 100% true. Okay, y'all. We have number 3. Practice self-compassion. So let's just say, even in this situation that we're talking about, where the person, I don't know, messed up on a team or thinks that they're going to lose their job because they're catastrophizing negative thoughts, and they're thinking, oh, I really messed up. Why did I do this? They don't want to work with me. Not only are we going to fact check, we're going to reframe the negative thought, but we're also going to practice self-compassion. You say to yourself, I'm human. I made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. I'm not a robot, nor is anyone else on my team. You'd be like, even though Johnny acts like a robot, but we're not robots. It's okay. I am human. Thank God I'm not a robot and that I'm human. Let me choose to let this go. yourself, that's okay. You made a mistake. Maybe you were stressed out. This is you talking to yourself. You could have been stressed. You could have been really busy. And I get it. I understand self. So the next time, we're just going to take our time and do what it is that we need to do so we just don't make that mistake anymore. But you a human self. And I still love you, self. And we're going to get this thing done because I know they would love to have us here. Come on, have some self compassion. And then number 4, if these thoughts, these negative thoughts remain in your head and you really find out that these thoughts are blocking you and you're ruining relationships, you're ruining, careers, losing money because of these negative thoughts, then I want you to find you a therapist. Find you a therapist to talk to help you to process these things, to teach you coping skills so that you can move forward, so you can adapt new behaviors to get through this, to get rid of these negative thoughts. If what I'm teaching you today, if you can't take that and adapt it to your life, then find you a professional, find you a therapist that you can go to and you can talk to, and they can help you to teach you, give you coping skills, teach you coping skills so that you can really eradicate these negative thoughts. That's what therapists, that's what we're here to do. And let me just tell you that you can scroll and look in an old episode that I did on this podcast where I taught you how to find a good therapist. It still works. So find you a therapist to help you through this process. If you feel like you need more help and direction and support than listening to this episode. Okay. And let me just tell y'all, okay, number 5, which is the biggest one of them all. Y'all know I'm going to always say, trust God, lean on God through this process of getting those negative thoughts out of your mind. When you believe that everything in life that you do is all dependent on you and your decision making, and it's not really dependent on anything else, then I could see you really getting caught up into negative thoughts, because we as human beings can only do so much. But let me tell you, family, what you have, if you haven't noticed before, is that you do have a heavenly Father. Like, you have something bigger than you who's got your back. So if you really can accept that and understand that your mistakes are just mistakes, but God has the last say. God, okay, is the Alpha, the beginning, and Omega is the end. He sees all. And a lot of times the mistakes that you make, a lot of times the roadblocks that you hit are his. He allows them to happen because there's a better place or direction for you to go. But if you don't understand that there is someone, a force that's bigger than you, who's always conspiring for your good, God, if you don't really believe that or connect to that, then I could see you ruminating with negative thoughts, because you would feel like you would be the one who has to control everything. And in that thought process, right, because you're a human being, you don't have much capacity. So then I could see you catastrophizing everything because you feel like you have no control and no one else does. So you have to control everything. And it's impossible. I could see you focusing on the negative instead of the positive. But God, I could see you always thinking that life has to be fair and there's some scale somewhere. But God, He has the last say. I could see you blaming everyone else to make yourself feel safe so that you feel like you're a superwoman or superman and you're going to carry yourself out to wherever the fantasy is. It's like, but no, take responsibility so that you grow. But God. He has the last say. He's got your back. Or the whole thought of fallacy of changes. Everybody's going to change. And then that change, is going to make me happy. It's going to make them happy. And it's like, no. Yes, people can change, and I can see that's a negative thought. If you thinking that there is no God, then that means that your happiness would be dependent on everybody else changing. You got me? Or you're thinking your safety would be dependent on everybody else changing. So I can see you thinking that, oh my gosh, everybody has to change. Everybody can. No, but God. Or when you overgeneralize, all women are out for one thing and they're no good. Lies. So I could see you thinking that you need to keep that thought next to you so that it protects you from being around so many women. So you could have that thought process so you won't let them get close to you. Or the same for men. But God, He's got your back. Okay, family? There you go. So it's trusting God and leaning on Him. Leaning on Him. Got me? All right, family. So you got it. So you have the tools that you need to get rid of those negative thoughts. First, you're going to fact check. Then number 2, you're going to reframe those negative thoughts. Number 3, you are going to practice self-compassion. You are no robot. You are human. Number 4, if the negative thoughts persist and this doesn't work, you reach out to a professional, reach out to a therapist. And number 5, more than any and everything that there is, you lean on God. Trust God. All right, family. I love you, love you, love you. No, y'all. I really, really do. And this is another episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise-Brown. I will see you, family, next week.